Now, when I first got this 2025 Chevy Blazer SS EV, I thought it was going to be just your average EV, you know, feeling the same with a boring interior. But honestly, this car has surprised me a lot. It's actually a very, very interesting EV, and it's super fun to drive as well. Yes, it does have the same vibe as pretty much every single EV out there, but I also have a Volvo EX30 this week, and this is the first time, I think, ever I would say this, but I think I prefer, when I pick a car to drive this week, I'm leaning always more towards the Chevy than the Volvo, and I'm going to let you know why in the Volvo review coming up here on the channel shortly as well. But looking at this is habanero red color. I think the styling that Chevy is doing right now, very interesting styling. It doesn't look boring. It has a clear identity as well. You have a big light bar in the front end, so we're going to have a look at the front end design, the side view, the rear, the interior, of course, and then we're going to take this for a drive.
The 2025 Chevy Blazer SS EV in habanero red is powered by a dual motors all-wheel drive, 102 kilowatt-hour battery pack. You got 615 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque. It is, of course, connected to a 1-speed automatic. 0 to 60 takes about 3.4 seconds. Very, very quick Chevy, this thing. 303 miles of range, and the price for this is $62,095.
Starting with the front end design, I think this has this clear transformer design to it. I think it looks very, very cool. And it's clearly a project that I feel like the designers, when they sketched this up, they were free. They had some liberties to create something very cool and unique for the Blazer SS EV. And I do like the black graphics in combination with the red graphics that we have with the habanero red on this specific vehicle. And also the light bar, full LED. The headlights are actually sitting right here in the location where we expect them to sit. They could have mounted them all the way down here, but thankfully they have the traditional position, which I like to see. Everything here is illuminated, including the Chevy logo has this LED going around it at night, looking very, very cool. And all the way down low, everything about this is actually functional. We have functionality all the way down here, functionality here in the middle, and also here on the sides with these side slots that funnel air through the sides of the front end of the vehicle. One detail I love here in the front end is this wing that we have cutting up here. It creates a very aggressive and also dynamic feel for the front end because we have different thickness here going into the lower section. Also the headlight unit looking very nice with this daytime run light, making it very clearly identifiable as a Chevy even at night, and that is very important. And this EV is something that I want to see more EVs do. Just have fun with the design. You have this skateboard platform now to build anything you want on top of, and I think Chevy did a great job with that because it has a clear identity and a clear unique DNA for Chevy. Also like the SS logo that we have mounted right there, in addition to the parking sensors across the entire front end. And all the way down low, we have almost a gunmetal lip spoiler in the lower section. So we have 3 different colors here. We have the red, the black, and all the way down low, we have the gunmetal silver. Looking pretty clean in my opinion. Let me know what you think about this front face of the Blazer SS. Now, looking up top of the hood of the vehicle, we still have some nice styling here. And what I like about this is that every single line that you have on top of the hood actually has a connection. If we draw this all the way down to the front, then you can see it connects to the cut point here of the LED daytime run lights and headlights in the front end. And then we have this swooping curve here as well, going up into the A-pillar of the design. Overall, as I said, this is one of these vehicles that I feel like the designers enjoyed sketching this, and they also had some freedom to create their own vision and not being strict to this bubble design that we see a lot of other EVs do today. So I think overall, with the front end design of the Chevy Blazer SS, I think they made a fantastic job. Now, if we want to talk about line flow, I think again the side view just looks beautiful on the Chevy SS EV. The one thing I would like to switch out here, though, I do understand that we have an EV, we want to stretch out the wheelbase as much as possible, but to me it just feels like the rear axle sits a little too far back. I want to move the rear axle forward by maybe 2 inches to have these more internal combustion engine proportions. But of course, if you do that, you're going to intrude on the rear passenger space. So I understand why EVs use this. You have it in every single EV pretty much, where you have the wheelbase sitting a little bit too far back. But look at the line flow here. This line up here, we have a nice line here at the bottom. This gunmetal silver coming back for the lower side skirt, and also 22-inch wheels, 275. millimeter wide tires. Gonna have a look at the wheels in just a second. And another reason why I like this styling is this cutout that we have in the front end fender right here. So this is actually the charging port. You tap it right there and it's going to fold down with an electric motor, and that is of course where you plug in your charger when you have it in your garage, for example. Just plug it in and charge it up overnight. Now we do have the beautiful line over the rear axle, creating this muscle of this design, and then we have this front end line here as well, this shoulder line in this area, also planting the front end design down on the ground. And I do like the tone that we have here, the black roof, for example, and how he swoops up in that area right there, creating a very tight and narrow rear section for the greenhouse. And all the way down low, we carve out some of this volume in the lower section by adding this black piece right here. And looking up top, we have the roof rails for the Blazer SS. Not sure if I prefer to have it with the roof rails or just remove them all together, but thankfully this area looks to be like it's covered up by a big plastic piece, but this is actually a window, so you do get a lot of light in the back seat of this, even though it seems a little cramped maybe from an outside perspective when you look at that specific area of the vehicle. Now look at the wheel and tire setup here. I love these wheels. I think they look great. We have a 275 millimeter wide tires all around the vehicle. 22-inch wheels. Love that it says SS right here on the wheel itself. And thankfully, they're not all blacked out. I hope we move more towards this type of styling when we have a little splash of brighter colors, so they can appreciate the wheel design better rather than having it be all black. It would just look like a black hole that fills out the wheelhouses. You can also see the SS brake caliper right there, looking very cool. Nice looking wheels, 22s, proper size to go on a vehicle like this. It just makes it feel like it sits correctly on the road. Now, coming around to the rear end, the one thing I would like to remove here is this little wiper that ruins everything for me when it comes to the overall cleanliness of this rear end design. But I do like that the line flow that we have coming around from the shoulder line that we have on the side wraps around in the back right here. We have a new Blazer logo with these 3 bars, blue bars, showing this is actually an EV. All-wheel drive SS badge right here. Reverse light in the lower section. And again, this gunmetal coming back in these fins that we have on the lower section of the corner of the rear end. Looking beautiful. Overall, I mean, if you walk around this car, it's what I want to see. I want to see lines that continues all around the vehicle. And we have a lot of them in the Chevy SS. Blazer SS, and that is the reason why I'm so surprised at just how beautifully sculpted this vehicle is. Now, coming up close and personal with the taillight design, thankfully we have full LED here, of course. We don't want to have any Edison light bulbs with a 2025 EV, high-tech EV like this is. And it looks like someone just threw something like this and it just splashed on top, on each direction there, and also down here. I do like the black housing, and when the light is off, it's actually white, the taillight unit itself. I think it's a very unique design, and Chevy's implementing this type of styling for a lot of the cars when it comes to the taillight. And I think it brings in, again, a good sense of DNA and identity for Chevy, not just with the front end design, but also with the rear. Now, opening up the trunk space, you do have a decent amount of storage back here. It is, of course, power assisted. And you can also fold up the floor section, which gives you a lot, surprisingly big storage unit all the way down here. A full little bin that you have all the way in the lower section, going almost all the way down to the very low point of the vehicle. Couple of LEDs as well, and you have a 60-40 split. If you need more space, all you got to do is just fold down the seats, and you have plenty of space back here. It's not the biggest space, but if you look at the side view, it compromises some of the space for some beautiful styling in the sloping roofline, something that I'm personally am always going to be a fan of. So with that said, we talked about the exterior design of the 2025 Blazer SS EV. Let's have a look at the massive 17.1, I do believe, inch screen that we have in the interior, which I'm actually not opposed to because of the integration of it. So let's check that out. Now, this is an interior that I honestly did not expect to like, because when I heard that we do have a 17-plus-inch infotainment screen right there, I thought it was going to be a little bit of overkill. But honestly, when you look at this integration, I don't mind it at all. I think this red as well just looks beautiful and very, very sporty. We look at this, and also the red exterior that we have. And we have some nice materials in the door panel itself. Leather wrapped right here. You have, of course, controls for the window switches and the mirror controls, memory seat settings right here. And I do like that the red stitching is coming back in the door panel right there as well. Bose sound system, couple of cup holders and storage in the lower section, and of course power assisted seats for the both front seats. Look at the air vent design here. This is beautiful. These are the details that I want to see in cars today. It has this gloss finish, and underneath it looks almost like, I don't know what, but it looks like some almost carbon fiber looking material underneath here, and very cool vent design in the front end here as well. So let's jump in here, have a look at what this is all about, and let me give you the reasons why I think this is a beautiful looking interior, even with the massive screens that we have going on here. So we do have a 17.7-inch infotainment screen, and one thing I don't like about this is the controls for the headlight unit are located inside of the software, so you don't have it on the stocks here. Instead, you have the washer and also the drive selector right here on the right side, but no controls for the outside lights. You got to do that inside of the software. And also another thing that is very surprising, we don't have wireless Apple CarPlay. I don't understand why. I just want to, I mean, 2025 model year, all this tech that we have, just put wireless Apple CarPlay in here. It's very, very strange not to have it in this vehicle. But the good news is, even though you have all the controls for the heated and ventilated seats down here in 3 different levels, as you can see, you also have the controls for the climate settings down here in an array of beautiful buttons. Toggle up and down, or down for the fan speed. I also like the animations with the fan speed right here, how it changes. Also, of course, the temp control is a simple dial like this. Very, very easy to do, nothing too complex. Everything that I want to see. You can go into drive modes. Here we have normal, sport, snow, ice, my mode, or Z mode, which actually gives you I think 100 extra horsepower and 200 extra pound-feet of torque when you turn that on. And did you hear that noise? It sounds very, very cool when you turn that on. Now let's see if we can turn it back off. Listen to this. Something happened with the Blazer SS right now. It got angry, and now we have the full power of the motors here. You can also switch out the feel for the motor sounds off, or if you want a normal sport, brake feel, normal, sport, and acceleration feel as well. You see all the settings that you have right here. Very, very cool. You can also, of course, customize your completely own setting right here to create whatever setting you want, a mix between all of these. Let's keep it in sport for now. I also like that we have these settings right here for the very easy to go in and change out the head-up display, the positioning of it, for example, and the traction control on and off, auto high beam, park assist, and so on. If we go into the camera settings, probably some of the best cameras in the business are coming from Chevy these days. So put it into reverse, you're gonna see the very high resolution here with the trajectory lines, of course. Very easy to navigate and see exactly where you are. On top of the top view that you have right here, you have an overview view of the rear end. For example, if you're gonna hook up a trailer, very easy to do that. In addition to the side view of the front tires, you see exactly, actually these are the rear tires, you see exactly where the rear tires are positioned at all times. We can go into the front view here as well, looking very nice. Here you have the front wheels as well, seeing exactly where they are positioned, so no way you're gonna crash into anything when you parallel park this vehicle, even though it is a rather large vehicle. So the camera settings are fantastic in this vehicle. Chevy, good job with the cameras. You have the what's it called, the one pedal driving here set to high, and this is actually a very good system when it comes to regen braking. Some cars have it very weak. It doesn't feel like it's regenerating at all when you let off the gas. This one though actually feels like you're stepping on the brakes when you let off the gas, and that is what I want to see in EVs. You have ambient lighting in here as well. You can choose between a bunch of different colors. So this system, to me, I mean, look at the integration here. I think it's a beautiful looking integration, and also the fact that we have the physical buttons for the most important settings still intact down at the bottom, even though you can change them digitally up here as well. Beautiful done, beautifully done, Chevy. I like this 17.7-inch screen. I don't actually mind that, which is crazy to think about. You also have a head-up display up front. You have an 11-inch gauge cluster, and since this is all made by pixels, you can press this button right there and customize this to show a bunch of different settings here. I actually like it. If you're navigating, you want to have the map right in front of you, maybe not on the side over there, so you can have the full map there as well. I like to keep it in, let's see, this setting right here. We have A lot of information, trip information. You have the charging and the regen braking, how much is activated and so on. I think this is the best gauge cluster for me. And looking at the steering wheel itself, you have the heated steering wheel right here, Chevy logo in the middle, beautiful design. I like this chamfer that goes on in the steering wheel itself, and the red stitching coming back on the inside of the steering wheel, SS logo right there. You have the cruise control. When it's on, this is gonna go green. This LED that we have inside of this piece of the steering wheel, very rugged and fat steering wheel, like I want to see on vehicles like this. It just feels good to grip this. You also have the regen braking paddles here on the side that I forgot to mention. Looking down here, we have more vents, beautifully integrated vents, looking massive and very functional as well. It has some nice weight to them when you're using them. You have more storage underneath here, actually a lot of storage, 2 USB-Cs, more storage, another storage shelf right in this area. We can slide this back up to cover this up, and we have the red leather coming back on the sides, 2 cup holders. This is what the key looks like, a pretty typical standard Chevy key with lock, unlock, remote start, open the trunk panic button, and that is about it. I wish it said SS on the back instead of just a Chevy logo. 2 cup holders, wireless charging pad located right behind the cup holders in an angle, meaning that if you're flooring it, your phone is not going to fly away anywhere. If we open this up, you have some more storage down here, in addition to a cigarette outlet right there, and a USB-C as well. So a total of 3 USB-Cs, 2 right here in the front. You also have 1 underneath the armrest right there. Pretty deep storage as well, looking very nice. Now looking at these seats, love that it says SS stamped, embroidered into the headrest, and this red is just a beautiful color. The one thing I would like to change here, you see how flat the bolstering is? Definitely need more bolstering, because this is a very quick vehicle. I mean, you can take corners in this pretty well, but it doesn't really hold you in place with these seats. But thankfully they are, of course, heated and ventilated, as I showed you right here in the infotainment screen. Looking up top, we have a full panoramic sunroof that goes all the way back. You can open the front section up as well, as you can see, going all the way back to the headrest of the passengers right there. You can close it back up by using these buttons up top in the ceiling. Hazard button right there, and we also have lane keep assist buttons on the left side of the steering wheel. The rear view mirror is analog, or you can have it as a digital view like that with the camera. And last but not least, in the front end, we do have a pretty small, for this type of vehicle, glove box, but I guess it's gonna house whatever you need to house there. Nice design up here for the passenger side as well. So with that said, I think we talked about everything in the front end. Let's have a look at what's going on in the back. Since we do have this large wheelbase, let me show you the wheelbase again, and just how far out the rear axle sits on this. This is, you have 0 overhang in the back, so of course it's going to give you a lot of space in the back here. So let's jump in and check out how much space we actually have. I do like that they didn't cheap out on the styling for the door panel for the passengers. Exactly the same materials that as we have in the front end. So let's jump in here and check out the leg space. Pretty massive. Jumping in here, no problems whatsoever fitting behind my own driving position. I mean, I have tons of space for the legs. And also, surprisingly, if you look at the outside of this roof line, it's pretty sloped, but as you can see, no problems whatsoever fitting back here behind my own driving position when it comes to leg room or headroom. Now, you do have heated seats back here in 3 different levels, couple of USBs as well, and last but not least, if we fold down this, yes, of course, we are going to find ourselves 2 cup holders right there. Very cozy back seat. I like it back here. The floor is, of course, completely flat since we don't have a transmission tunnel going here, which also, of course, going to give you a lot more space for the feet and the legs. So with that said, we talked about the exterior design, the interior design, and now it's time to take this beast for a drive. Alrighty, guys, 615 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque in this Blazer SS EV. Let's take it for a drive. Let me show you just how quick this is. You got 0 to 60 in about 3.4 seconds. Range is, I would say, decent. It's not the best. About 303 miles of range with this vehicle. You do have the big 22-inch wheels, of course, that are not covered up looking like food plates. And that, of course, going to bring down the range. 275mm wide tires as well, all around. Not the best for range, but honestly, I don't care when it transforms the look of this vehicle and makes it look so much better when you have the correct wheel and tire size on your vehicle, which I think this one has. So overall, I mean, when I jumped into this, the overall impression I had my idea of what this car was gonna feel like, and it's actually surpassed all my expectations, to be honest. I think it's a great vehicle. I do really like this interior. So we're going uphill here. Let's just floor it. Let's see that we are actually in sport, or let's go into Z. Add full power here. Love the noise that it makes. So let's come to a stop. We're going uphill a little bit here, and let's floor it. Let's go. Oh yeah, and we're up to 60, and that was uphill. Keep in mind, it felt like probably 4 seconds or something like that. I mean, the torque, as you know, with EVs is instant. It's the same problem here though with every single EV. They all just feel they're fun. Their acceleration is always gonna be fun. But the problem is, how do you add personality to the different vehicles and the different brands? Because electricity, transforming that into power, acceleration, you can't really turn electricity or make electricity have a different personality like you can, of course, with all the variety of internal combustion engines that we have. You can have an internal combustion engine have a clear personality to it, but when it comes to electric motors, I mean, how do you do it? Every single vehicle is just gonna feel exactly the same. But yeah, I mean, if you want speed, this Chevy SS EV is definitely something to look into, because it is very, very quick. That is another reason why I definitely want to have a little bit more bolstering in these seats, because I feel like they do not hold you in place. It corners pretty well with the fat tires here, so it did not hold you in place the way I would like it to. And another thing I really like about this is the regen braking, because it has clear very, very strong and effective regen braking, something that I feel should be natural in every single EV, because why not? As soon as you let off the gas, you're going to get a lot more energy back into the battery, and who wouldn't want to have that? And you also don't have to move your feet, so it's kind of a relaxing way of driving a car. So I'm glad to see that Chevy really hammered in the regen braking here and made it very substantial. That is what I want to see in EVs. As we ride along here on this beautiful day, there is no really road noise from the tires, even though they are thick 275mm wide tires. The comfort is phenomenal, great comfort, ventilated seats. But again, ventilated seats has never really worked for me in any vehicle. Maybe 1 or 2 vehicles I've been in that have ventilated seats actually feel like it's cooling you down. These ones, not so much. I really don't feel anything, and we have it on the 3rd setting, the top setting when it comes to ventilated seats, but I don't really feel anything about it. Of course, heated seats is a lot more easier to engineer and to make work properly, but ventilated seat, it seems to be always to be a problem with a bunch of different manufacturers, and that it goes for Chevy as well. So we're gonna come onto the highway here. We're gonna see just how comfortable and quiet this is at about 70 miles per hour, unless we have a lot of traffic today. I don't think it should be too bad. All right, so coming onto the on-ramp here, we're doing 25 miles per hour, and we're going downhill, so this is gonna be a roller coaster ride, but let's go. And we're up to 70 there, so yeah, the power, 615 horsepower, is definitely there, no problems at all. And it definitely goes very easy to merge into traffic when you have this type of power. Riding along here on the highway, let's put the cruise control on. See, it turns green here, and it is now enabled at 73 miles per hour. Does everything for you, the steering. If you want to change lanes, it's going to change lanes for you as well. We're going to do that right here once we pass this vehicle on my left. Turning on the indicator, auto lane change, and we are in the lane. Perfect. This is one of the best adaptive cruise control systems out there. Chevy has just nailed it. It makes for longer road trips so much more relaxing and enjoyable. because all you gotta do is just keep your hand on the steering wheel, make sure nothing goes completely crazy here. And the car does 90% of the thinking for you when we're in traffic like this. So let's make another lane change here. No hands. And we're in the lane there. So fantastic system by Chevy. And to sum this vehicle up, I'm pleasantly surprised at just how well built this car is and how much I really like this interior. With a 17.7 inch screen, I did not expect this to be such a cozy interior to be in. This is not an interior that I wouldn't mind. I mean, I wouldn't mind spending a lot of time in here and drive this for a very long distance. Of course, you're gonna have to stop and charge every now and then. But other than that, it's a great design by Chevy. I do prefer the Equinox EV because I think that design looks a lot more chiseled, and proportions look better in the Equinox EV compared to the Blazer EV. So if I were to buy one, I would probably go with the Equinox just because I like the styling a little bit better. But this clearly, to me, has a clear personality and DNA to it, both when it comes to the exterior, but also I think the interior design. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.